South Africans. Let's talk about a political illusion so powerful it shaped South Africa for over 3 decades, and too many of us still don't see how it works. It's called the tripartite alliance. If you want to understand why so many feel stuck, betrayed, and deeply divided, you have to understand this system and its consequences. A system many rightly call a scam. On paper, it's a partnership. 3 pillars of the so-called liberation movement, the ruling ANC, the South African Communist Party, and the giant trade union federation COSATU. The ANC governs, the SACP provides ideology, and COSATU brings workers' voices and muscle, unity for a sort of freedom, a shared struggle, a compelling story. But the real story is very different. This isn't a coalition, it's a con. The same people sit in the leadership of all 3 organizations, playing different roles in the same political theater. Imagine this scene. You're a worker with a legitimate grievance, unfair conditions, low pay, dangerous workplaces. You're told, go talk to your union. Your union is supposed to be your champion, but now imagine that union leader and your boss sit in the same political meetings, take direction from the same party headquarters, and are, in many cases, the same people wearing different hats in the ANC, SACP, and COSATU. What happens to your complaint then? It becomes a whisper, a negotiation behind closed doors. Your issue dissolves into loyalty to the party, not results for you. This is the scam in action. That is the core contradiction of the alliance. COSATU is supposed to fight for workers, yet its top leadership is entwined with the same government that sends police against striking workers. We saw this in its most brutal form at Marikana on August 16, 2012. Miners demanded a living wage, and the state sent guns and bullets instead of solutions. And there, in the messy aftermath, COSATU's political role within the alliance muted the challenge rather than amplified the workers' cause. Marikana exposed the fraudulent promise of political liberation without economic transformation. This isn't accidental, it's structural. It's a scam built on overlapping memberships and shared elite interests. Over the years, this arrangement has eroded genuine accountability. Critics and reports have documented how COSATU's membership has declined sharply by over 416,000 members between 2015 and 2022, a clear sign of worker disillusionment with this betrayal. The system's failure is on full display right now. Just days ago, the government gazetted a 3.8% pay rise for politicians, costing an additional 536 million rands. Meanwhile, the ANC admits its own failures in service delivery have hollowed out public trust. And what was COSATU's response? Dismay? Yes. But decisive action? A break from the alliance? No. They issued a press release. This is the paralysis in real time. The workers' champion is reduced to writing angry letters to the very partners it props up in power. This is the scam playing out in broad daylight. You can also see fractures emerging today. At recent gatherings, the SACP has chosen to contest elections independently of the ANC, a move that signals long-standing dissatisfaction with how decisions are made within the alliance. That disagreement isn't trivial. It shows that the old pact is cracking under the weight of its own contradictions. Even the partners are acknowledging the illusion. And when they disagree, it exposes the fundamental weakness of this scam. The ANC's leadership often moves ahead without deep consultation with its alliance partners on key policy decisions. We saw this with the sudden chaotic shifts in the Eskom roadmap and the indecision on the national health insurance funding model, classic examples of alliance paralysis creating policy confusion that you and I pay for. The NHI is now law but mired in 9 separate court challenges, with even the finance minister calling for negotiations to settle the legal deadlock. The scam creates resentment and confusion about priorities. So what's the outcome on the ground? We get paralysis, policy flip-flops, Politicians promising radical change during campaign seasons and pivoting to market-friendly positions in governance moments. We see government leaders talking a revolutionary language in the townships while negotiating business-friendly terms in global forums. This dual messaging is not strategy. It's the essential con of the tripartite alliance, confusion dressed up as ideology. And it's the ordinary South African who pays the price. Unreliable electricity, collapsing water systems, dilapidated roads. Promises of transformation have hardened into the cynicism you feel every time you swipe your electricity card without power, or watch friends struggle under unemployment while the same political class trades slogans between their ANC, SACP, and COSATU meetings. The polling data shows it too. The ANC's support has fallen significantly in recent elections, not because people have hope elsewhere, but because hope within has been depleted by this enduring scam. This alliance was meant to be a bulwark for the working class. Instead, it has become a closed circuit of power for the same overlapping group of people. Decision-makers protect their positions, and the language of struggle has been replaced by the language of political survival. Jobs, services, dignity, those have become the collateral damage of this grand political deception. And yet, every group in this country feels the same frustration. The black family in townships, the colored worker in suburban streets, the Indian entrepreneur watching crime erode customers, the white farmer trying to keep his farm alive. The system fails them all, because the sickness here isn't about race alone. It's about an unaccountable scam of power that protects the same elites across 3 organizations. The real tragedy isn't just that things are broken, it's that we know they don't have to be. We know good policy, competent governance, and accountable leadership would change lives. What we lack is a system that actually puts people over party, a system that breaks this cycle of deceit. Understanding this alliance as the scam it is the first step to seeing a way out. In a follow-up, we'll examine what a political landscape beyond this pact could actually look like, and which movements are trying to build it. So what does that mean for you? If this resonates, if you're tired of watching slogans go nowhere and watching basic services decline, don't let this conversation die at the end of this video. Like this video. Push this message into the algorithm so others can see it. Subscribe. We're building a community that speaks plainly and demands honesty, not the slogans of a scam. Tell me in the comments, what's the most frustrating service failure you've faced because politics got in the way? I want to hear the real examples from you. If you can, join the conversation through membership or donate a super thanks to help build the space where people can actually voice out their concerns. We're not enemies here. We want real change, not just politics as usual. Let's start imagining what comes after the alliance's con, not with anger for its own sake, but with clarity about what must come next.